Well. Unfiltered podcast. We recorded this morning where at the time we were unsure about Joe Burrow's health. I wasn't sure if he would miss any time, a week, 2 weeks. We were saying that this morning that Joe Burrow, everything hinges on Joe Burrow being healthy. Well, we got the word hours ago. Joe Burrow tore a ligament in his wrist, out for the season. And this changes everything in the AFC wildcard race. Everything. Because even though the Bengals have a tough schedule, even though we agree to that, I still believe that come hell or high water, a healthy Joe Burrow, the Bengals somehow, some way find themselves in the playoffs. It's a wild card, yes, but I still trust that team when Joe Burrow is healthy. Joe Burrow, out for the year. Bengals are done, pretty much. Now, I don't want to throw the dirt on the Bengals just yet. Well, I just did. But I don't know if the Bengals can, even with the backup quarterback, find 5 more wins. Because they may require that. Especially given where the AFC picture is. And here's the thing now, too. Because I said on the earlier podcast that I don't believe all 3 teams currently in the wild card race that are currently holding the 3 spots, Steelers, Browns, and Texans, I don't believe all 3 teams are going to hold those spots. The Browns lost their quarterback for the year or two, Deshaun Watson. Now, granted, he hasn't played well all year long, but I don't know if they can sustain the way they've been playing all year long for another 7 weeks. The Texans are still young. They're obviously the story right now of the year. C.J. Stroud, still a story of the year. But they still got to prove it. So, here's where we're at now. Because of this injury now of Joe Burrow for the year, I think most people agree the Bengals are done. They're not going to make the playoffs. Because I don't know if the backup quarterback Browning is good enough to get you 4 or 5 wins. Because that's going to require that to get in the playoffs. Here's where I'm at right now. The winner of this Browns-Steelers game this weekend on Sunday, in my opinion, virtually clinches a playoff spot. It's not official, obviously, but the winner of that game, it's in. Count them in. That's 7 wins for that team, 7-3. They have pretty much a couple of games ahead of everybody else on the schedule and behind them in the wild card race. I think the winner of that game is pretty much the team that'll land one of those spots. Jets, Bills. It was already a big game even before this injury. Now, Jets, Bills, this became arguably game of the week. Because the winner of that game can at least feel like, okay, even with a tough schedule moving forward, because Cincinnati's not in the mix anymore, we should at least find a way to get 4 more wins going forward. 3 to 4 wins going forward. Especially at Buffalo. If Buffalo finds a way to win this game, they should win this game against the Jets on Sunday. They should feel somewhat better about their chances. Broncos and Vikings Sunday Night Football. Who would have thought weeks ago would have been a huge game? Now it's a huge game especially for Denver, because Denver's back in the mix now. They're 4-5. I don't see this happening, but what if the Raiders somehow, some way upset the Dolphins? All of a sudden, they're 6-5 now. All of a sudden. So Joe Burrow's injury changes a lot in the AFC wildcard race. And I think when we come out of this week, we still may be more confused about who's what. But the teams below the 17 Texans right now in AFC, not named Cincinnati, If you're Buffalo, if you're Denver, if you're the Raiders, hell, if you're the Chargers game is huge now for them. They're 4-5. They're arguably one of the best teams in that bottom tier that could, hypothetically, if they get their shit together, could make a run late here. So if you're the Chargers, the Bills, the Broncos, the Raiders, hell, the Colts are right now in it too as well. This is your time. This is your time to make a move. Make a run. Joe Burrow's out. The Bengals are now vulnerable, even more so now. So this AFC wildcard race just got that much nuttier with Joe Burrow being out for the year. Just that simple.